Yeah, what up, YouTube? It's your boy Zai. You already know what time it is, man. But basically, I see a lot of stuff on social media, and I get some criticism, some flack for certain things that I say, and I'm really unapologetic about absolutely everything that I say because it's something. It's not said in the heat of the moment. It's said because I truly feel that way, not only in the moment, but that's just the way one's mentality works. And a lot of people find issue with that, especially the soft ones that feel as if I need to cater to their needs or shift my content to a way that I'm just not comfortable with. Like, I could really get into social media and start delving deep into like the criticism absolutely everybody, from every content creator to every rap star to every anything that has to do with being politically invested, as far as like gangs on the street. Like, I can get into all that. Like, I could talk about every rapper that's not actually about it, that was proven not to be about it, but I just don't like to go down that road. It's not to say that there's certain things I won't cover, especially if I feel strongly about it, feel like I got like something I really want to say. But as far as like getting on social media and just really criticizing dudes that's actually doing good, like, you had a gang of fools jump on the hate lefty train and made absolutely no sense, because at the end of the day, dude is getting his money, and he was putting on, regardless of whether people liked his style of music or felt as if he really had a real gift. You got Coyote and you got a lot of other fools that really got talent, but it's a vibe. You know what I mean? Like, Coyote, I vibe with. You know what I mean? I'm glad that I came across their music because I really vibe with it. It's refreshing, you know what I mean? And that's all I'm gonna say about that. But yeah, I didn't jump on the whole lefty hate train. I actually like Lefty. I liked too, Rowdy Rich. I like some of his stuff, not all of it, but I like some of his stuff. But I'm not going to jump on the hate train and get to criticizing, especially when it's the homies. Like, I'm not going to criticize people that don't represent what I represent anyways, but I'm really not going to jump on social media and get to criticizing people that have been down the same road as me, even if they haven't did exactly the same things as me. It's a simple fact that we represent the same things. And I'm going to give everybody I'm gonna give everybody their roses while they still here, because especially when it comes down to this whole gang thing, and that's what I want to talk about in the first place. Like, I was gonna go down the whole rabbit hole with social media and people professing to be the greatest that ever did YouTube, and I'll reiterate it for the millionth time. I've been here and done that. Like, I've been here at the height of it and just really slowed down because I really didn't care about YouTube no more. So for the people that constantly assuming that you invented it, you didn't, dog. Like, we can go bar for bar, we can go video for video, dog. I've been here for a long time, dog. Like, I've been on social media for a long time, like, especially really representing the double S, like, and really like speaking my mind and saying what I needed to say, and didn't care who didn't like it. And then another difference between me and a lot of other people is I actually pop out. Like, I be places, and I got videos of being places, and I always show up one deep. I don't show up no 20, 30 fools. I show up one deep with the same energy that I had when I was young. But I'll say it's a good thing that I no longer really trip as hard. Like, I still have my moments. Like, I'm still an idiot. I still do things that I shouldn't do, like bang on people because I felt like their energy is starting to turn up, so I instantly want to get the drop on them. But I'm still learning. Even at this age, I'm still learning. But that's something that has been ingrained in me for years, of doing the same exact thing, never really breaking the, but I'm learning. But that's not what I want to talk about. What I'm going to get into, sorry it took so long, was the whole gang thing and the fact that there's no real elevation in gang banging no more. Like, even people like to, when things of that nature are brought up as far as like elevation, and they like to bring up certain organizations, that's not elevation. That's just organizing crime, or organizing this or organizing that. Real elevation is like controlling politics, controlling certain business practices, controlling certain businesses. And I'm not talking about trying to do dirty, but just really out there organizing organizing, really like when there's drama on the street, as far as like somebody giving you pushback towards your people, like really getting out there and pushing on a political page, really having real power, not just the street power. Because at the end of the day, there's no real power on the streets. Like anybody can, unalive anybody. It doesn't take but a split second to make that decision. And some people really can't live with that, but they have to deal with it. They have no choice. Some end up busted, some never get busted, but if they were never really with it from the gate, they're always going to have to live with that. But I'm talking when I say there's no real elevation, because there's no businesses or nothing being drafted, there's no putting on of their people, there's no putting on of anybody. It's just a constant circle like of just drama and despair and like all these other things that go into what it means to really be a gangbanger. And when I say despair, people are gonna be like, oh, that's a little bit harsh, but it is despair, because you're really stuck in a cycle to where you can't really get up out of it. Like any deviation from the program is seen as soft, and then people speak on you, or they say things like, and that's what I say, like, and I'll just go back to what I'm saying, but I'll make this point. It's like when I talk about the trash, the fools that are no good no more, the fools that locked it up and went to certain yards. Never once, I call them the B word. I say things of that nature because I don't really care about them. But there's a lot of fools that's over there that's really with the function. And if they catch you, they gonna put you somewhere, because regardless of being removed from whatever program they were on before, they still keep that mentality. That's why you see a lot of them go to them yards and they want to continue politicking, because it's still not out of their system. They were just up against a wall, and regardless of whatever way they went, because of whatever, there's still fools on there that's about that business. But even then, there's no real elevation. And it's a sad thing. It's like, at one time a lot of gangs were created in order to protect the community, but it's no need to really protect the community, because you're not protecting the community, you're actually destroying. Like I had seen a story of a dude in Texas. He was a rapper and a gambler, and he was balling. He was making his money. He ended up getting gunned down along with his 5-year-old daughter. Like that, when I seen it, I just was like, because at the end of the day, like when it comes to California and whatever politics may be, like if something happens to a kid and you're involved in it, you're done. Like if you touch the California prison system, you are done from every side. Like, and I know some sides they slip, but I can guarantee you're gonna run into the wrong one, regardless of whatever car is in there, and you're done, dude. You're not, unless you just get lucky, you're not gonna make it home, because anything directed towards a child is automatically seen as like the worst. I don't care if it's something like, you're getting into it with your wife and you accidentally hit your kid, or what I mean, like something that you would normally just go to jail for, like spouse, but you get child endangerment, it's all over for you. Like if you gonna have to go somewhere in order to avoid what's coming with that. Like, and that's just California politics. So when I seen what took place in Texas, and I'm reading the comments, and they're like, look, that is still a no-go in Texas. I don't know their politics. I just know in California that's a no-no. Like that's a no. Like, and people really pay attention to them type of charges. It's just what it is. And this is not to glorify one state over the other. This is just to say that there's no real elevation in gangbanging. Like you would figure over all these, these hundreds of years or whatever, that gangbanging has been whatever, that people would get to a point to where it's money over everything. And I'll tell you, like my homeboys, like and I won't mention what he's trying to create, but because I don't want nobody to steal his idea, even though it's things of that nature have already been out there, but it's just like not expected for somebody that's been in the trenches. But like that dude was telling me, and this is like the second time I had met him, and he's telling me, yeah, I'm gonna do this, I'm getting the homies, pulling them into here, getting them this type of holly, so so he can actually start doing things. And as a good homie, regardless older or not, I had to applaud it. Like, and that's the type of things you do when you really stumped down about your homeboys. Like, you know, you can always go to the negative, and, you know, in certain hoods that would be laughed at because there's fools that just don't want you to get ahead of them. It's just proven. Like, you see on social media all the time, fools are going at it. They're homeboys and they're going at it over the stupidest things. You got fools that pretending to be other fools' homies in order to try to get a little shine. But that's, you know, that saying, and it's like constantly pulling each other down. And that's not just in one race. That's in everything. The only people I really don't see that too much in is like the whites. They tend to want to put theirs on, and yeah, they might hate on certain things, but like as far as like making sure that they get ahead, because if you notice, even if you go into a business and the business is I say white owned, a lot of times if I walk in there and a white convict walks in there, he's going to get the job a lot faster than me, regardless of his qualifications, in a lot of places, because they tend to look out for their own, and nobody else does that. Like, it's crazy. Like, you know, you hear conversations as far as like when it comes to like Hispanics, they look out for their own. Yeah, in a sense they do. Mexicanos be looking out for each other. That's why most of the jobs in certain areas are only heavily populated by Mexicanos. It has nothing to do with work ethic, because there's a lot of people that work just as hard, but it's just there's a discrepancy in pay, and there's a willingness to go above and beyond. And also, it's easier to have a lot of Mexicanos dealing with certain areas, because predominantly it is of the same race or some type of group that's close to that, whether it be Salvadorians, people from Guatemala, Honduras. Like, it's Spanish speaking communities, so it's a lot easier for them to go in than for you to send a Gava or some black dude to come and talk to them. It's a disconnect. Now, I say all that to say this, dog. You would think after all this time, people will be elevated. People will be able to play nice, will be able to look out for the next man without, expecting anything. Like, it's more beneficial to do for your own, you know what I mean, than to try to circumvent them and do scandalous and backdooring things, because at the end of the day, you pretty much only got your own. Like, I've learned that. Like, it in more ways than one. Like, it's like after a while, it's like you start to realize that a lot of things that were necessarily fly or were hot at one time are no longer hot. Like, the gangbanging thing it's become decrepit and worn down, and it's not the same. Like, the same thick skin that people had before, they no longer have. Like, people like to say that it surpassed the 90s, like as far as like gang violence. It didn't. You still haven't reached that number. It's got stupider. Like, people have not got to the point where you can just be like, at least back in the days, like in the 90s, even though the unaliving rate was so high, people still knew how to throw hands. Like, they didn't have to murk. A lot of fools murk you just to get, a little notoriety, but they were known for also like throwing hands. But that's regardless of the point. I'm not trying to glorify the 90s as well. It was just a stupid thing. But it's just, at some point you got to elevate. Like, a lot of people are putting in key positions to actually bring their hood up out of, I won't say poverty, but actually bring them into a different light. Start, assimilating into a place to where it's known to make money and not so much about the violence. And that's all I'm saying on that. Like, at some point you gotta elevate, and that's why I say, like, gangs nowadays, like, that's just decrepitness, run down, and people haven't got it yet. Like, regardless of what takes place and how many people will be locked in cages and shipped away and all this, and how many people will get life, people will never get it until they have to get it. But that's all I'm gonna say on that. Like, I didn't really go to try to delve into too many things like that. But it's like I just thought about that when I seen like this 5-year-old get unalived because they were trying to clap her father. Like, and mostly I'm like hoping fools get away, but like dudes like that, like, once you go and you unalive a kid, you should get punished with street justice, if anything. But Yeah, sad situation. But gangs, man, you got to do better, man. Got to elevate. Got to put your homeboys on. Like for the fools that's really got it popping, man, you gotta put on, man. You gotta really help your homeboys get to the next level. And the ones that you can't, leave them. That's it. Sometimes you gotta distance yourself. That's why a lot of these fools end up dead, because they continuously deal with the fools that really didn't have no love for them in the first place. Most hoods are like that. There's no real love, and that's just being honest. There's no real love. You know, back in the days, like, you always had like the scandalous fools, and you always had the fools that were just looking out for themselves, and the ones that try to lead you down the wrong path. Because the whole goal of gangbanging when you start a hood is to increase the numbers, or whether you join a hood, they're putting you on because they're trying to increase the numbers. The whole reason I made this video is just to point out the fact that mostly everybody knows it's decaying. Is decaying, and wherever it started and what it started for at that time is no longer that. You don't need to protect your block from the gavas. You don't need to protect your block from the white man. You don't need to protect your from these fools. It's just, you know, you have to elevate. Because if you look at California, I say gentrification is here, and it's here to stay, and it's gonna constantly keep pushing until it push out everybody that's not above a certain pay out. It just is what it is, and they're gonna take it back one by one, you know what I mean, until it's just, and that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make California a state that's just like that. It's where they don't poverty, nothing. They don't, until it's nothing. You should see the plans for the city, like once they push you out of it. See, so that's things that people need to think about. Like if you create these businesses and you really put your back behind that, and not so much the streets, you can elevate your homies to the point to where they don't have to leave the same blocks that they grew up with. It's just when it changes, you change with it. You have no choice. It's like, what you gonna do? They're gonna make it harder for you to be able to maneuver in a city where you did all this, you know. It's elevation. You either get with it, or they're gonna run over you, or they got places to put you. It's like when the Olympics come, all these people that are homeless and all these fools that's doing all this stuff on the street, they put in one place. That's in jail until it's over, and then you may get lucky and get out, or you might catch an ad case or whatever. But yeah, it's about elevation. Create something for your people. Create something for your homeboys. Create something for those who you know can do better. And eventually, the ones that can't they'll dwindle. They'll move away. They'll do that. They'll get tired of nobody wanting to be around them. Yeah, that's how you got to do it. That's the only way that makes sense to me. Elevation. I'm not trying to go backwards. It's just constantly elevating. Slow, but a constant. With that being said, I'm your boy Zod, and for my haters, I'm still here.